Starting this weekend, OWCS Stage 3 is finally underway. Over the next week, I'm going to go over the NA, EMEA, and Korea regions, starting off with the Korea region today. I'm going to go over all 9 teams that qualified for Stage 3, give my thoughts on each one, and give a general prediction for how I think each team is going to perform. Let's start off with the Korea Stage 2 champions, Crazy Raccoon. Crazy Raccoon are going to look to pick up right where they left off at the end of Stage 2. This team was dominant throughout the majority of the beginning of the season, but yes, they did struggle in the mid-season championship. I'm not going to put too much credit into it. I don't believe that single elimination allows a team to fully show their strengths. I think being able to bounce back from adversity and be able to change your game plan is important, and being able to go down to the lower bracket and get your chance to adjust is an important part. However, regardless of that single elimination, they still did lose. And that loss hopefully should let them know that they aren't invincible and that they really need to start stepping things up if they want to win. Crazy Raccoon are still a dominant team on paper. The team is still pretty much the same: Junbin, Max, Chorong, Chu, Lip, and Heesang. Their only real addition being Spint or Spint, I'm not really sure how you say that name, will be coming in to play DPS. I think he probably won't get a ton of playing time. He'll be used periodically, subbed in from time to time. I am a little worried because I think he might eventually be a Lip replacement. You know, judging by my profile picture, I would not be super happy if Lip retired. It would be pretty rough, but hopefully that's not the case. I think he's a really good up-and-coming talent, and I think he'll do a lot for this team. Overall, Crazy Raccoon should expect to place at least top 3, if not win the whole thing. This is one of those teams that you really got to keep your eye on no matter what, because they could just get hot at any time. They have a chance to take any tournament they're in. The same can be said about Team Falcons, who despite getting knocked into the last chance qualifiers, managed to win the mid-season championship. It was a pretty good run, pretty dominant throughout the whole thing. The team looks pretty strong, they look coordinated, but I do think they got a little lucky with the meta, considering that was basically perfectly what they needed. This team is really strong. The only real bad thing I can say about it is the fact that they lost Stalker is a pretty big downgrade. As much as I think that Proper Merit is going to be still one of the best DPS lines in the game, Stalker's just one of those players you can't replace. Someone in Hanbin is a really good tank line, and I still feel like someone gets a lot of hate that he really doesn't deserve. He's still a really good player, really flexible, able to get basically anything you need done, and he's still probably a top 5 tank in the game, and having Hanbin to cover those weaknesses that he has, I think will make this tank line super strong. As a whole, Team Falcon should pick up right where they left off, dominating throughout most of this, dropping maybe one game, just like Crazy Raccoon, and I expect to see them in at least top 3. This team could potentially win it all. And my final team that I think is going to make it all the way to the top 3 is going to be T1. T1 are kind of like the if team of this tournament. You know, they have a lot of potential, they got a lot of up-and-comers, but they haven't quite gotten over that hump. They haven't managed to make it and win a finals, they haven't won a tournament yet, and I think now might be their time. This team is really, really good, really, really flexible. Proud, Viper, and Zest is a underrated DPS line that has a lot of potential to fight upwards. Donghak, still one of the best tanks in the game. I know he gets lots of hate, but he's a really good tank, he's very flexible, and now they added Jasmine, who will be able to take a little bit of that brunt off of Donghak's shoulders. I still expect Donghak to play majority of the time. He is the better tank in my opinion, and he's one of the best in Korea. He should help this team do well. And obviously, Zeta Vigilante is a deadly support line that I still don't think gets enough credit, despite them literally getting 2nd place last stage. As a whole, T1 are one of those teams that I think are either going to get 3rd and never beat their potential, or they're going to win the whole stage. So keep an eye on this team. I think it's top 3 or bust with this team. I think they have the chance to go all the way. Alright, kind of on the outside looking in, I've got Zeta Division. Now, I could be completely wrong. This team could be way better than I thought. But this team made a lot of changes. This is a very new team that we haven't seen a lot of, and I'd rather be safe than sorry. First things first, they finally signed a Violet replacement with Bliss, which means Alpha Yi is free to go back to DPS. No more Lucio for Alpha Yi, and honestly, thank God. He didn't do that bad of a job, but I'd rather him play DPS. So Bliss and Finn will be the support lineup for this team, and I think Bliss is a really good player. You know, he looked really good in Dallas. He's had some good hops around the league. He looked good on Twisted Minds. This will be a good support lineup. As for the DPS, they've ended up signing Probe, who I think is a very good player who hasn't gotten a lot of attention, alongside Pelican and Alpha Yi. They did lose Flora, which I think is a big loss, but hopefully Probe should be able to cover that. I mean, realistically, I think they're of similar skill levels. I think maybe Flora's a little better, but Probe can prove himself here. As for the tank lineup, they already have Bernard, who I think could be like a sneaky top 2 tank in the entire game. And they added Mag, who although isn't great, the biggest problem with Mag is his flexibility. And, well, Bernard can really cover whatever he can't. This whole team from top to bottom is really, really good, really stacked, and can cover a lot of different metas. However, they're unproven, they haven't shown that they can, get over the hump, and they're in the Korea region, which means they gotta fight Team Falcons, they gotta fight Crazy Raccoon and T1. This will be an uphill battle, and I'm really hoping that they can prove me wrong. Alright, next I want to talk about Weey, which formerly was AGG, or All Gamers Global. They played in the mid-season championship, but now they're going under WAE or Weey. I don't really know why. I think it's because AGG only had them for the mid-season championship for Esports World Cup. But this team is basically the same. I think this is going to be one of the best teams on paper. They also signed in new DPS players, Taejong and Sunjun, who, if you haven't seen them before, are both pretty good. Go play alongside Aid. Mulgaru is a really good tank, and I think he has a lot of flexibility that people don't give him credit for, but I wouldn't get anything confused. He's not an elite tier player. He has a lot of, issues that he could potentially have on the tank, and if the meta doesn't go their way, I think Mulgaru specifically will probably be what holds this team back a little bit. The thing that I think really helps this team out is their support line. Lee Sumin and Maka is a disgustingly good support line that has a lot of potential to just get kills themselves. They're really aggressive, they know how to make plays, and that's something that I like. I think of some of these players, like Maka specifically, I think of him as like a mini Shu almost. He's a little more aggressive, but he goes and makes those plays. He's got the mechanics, he just doesn't have the success to back him up, and I think that they need to be looking upwards to fight here. This team I expect to probably place top 4 or 5. They should be fighting for one of those playoff spots. They want to get in that top 4 range. I don't know how well they'll do. I think it's probably them or Zeta Division will be fighting for the spot, but they're definitely a team that has a lot of upside, and I think they have a really good chance to perform very well. Alright, now we're going to get to some of the teams that we don't have as many answers for. There's some more question marks around their flexibility or some of their players. At the top of this list, I think, is Onsite Gaming. Onsite Gaming made a lot of upgrades, I think, in the offseason. Most notably, they brought in Knife on DPS, who, if you've seen Knife play, is an absolute freak, but he's never really had a great team around him. And I think this is a pretty solid team around him. I think he'll be able to elevate them a lot. I'm just not sure how much. Kilo is back, and Otto as well is a pretty good DPS line. And their other big acquisition of Kellen will be paired with Attack to make a really solid tank line. Kellen has also been one of those players that has been up and down throughout most of his career. He was pretty good when he played in North America, but this is the Korea region. I'm not sure how well he'll be able to keep up with these other players. He's had a lot of bad ult usage and dying early issues. I think he'll be a great player. I think he won't hold this team back, but I don't think he'll elevate this team. As for the support lineup, Opener and Irony is reliable as reliable gets. There is no downside of this support line. You know they're going to be good. You know they're going to be flexible. Irony specifically is a lot better than people give him credit for. He really helped out that Hangzhou Spark team when he played. I think this team will be good, and I would not be shocked if they get upsets or two. But in such a stacked region like Korea, I'm not sure how far they'll get. Next up, we have Old Ocean, who I'm really happy is returning. They made no changes to the roster. They are the exact same as last time. We got Alien, Becky, and Dart on DPS, Heiser and Guram on tank, and Ryu Jae-hong and Kivis on support. This is a really fun team. I don't expect to do great, crazy things. I don't think they're going to upset Team Falcons or Crazy Raccoon. But I think this team is going to try to get a couple of wins and honestly just be a fun team to watch. Watching Ryu Jae-hong in 2025 just makes me happy. It's really cool to see that he's around still. And getting to have Becky on a DPS line that's actually pretty sentient is really nice to see. This team is going to be one of those lower end teams with some high upside that I think has the potential to get a couple more wins than you might expect. I don't think they'll go very far, but hey, maybe they'll get some upsets. Next up, we have Mer Gaming, which was formerly a team known as New Era. This team features a lot of players that I'm not too familiar with, and MCD. Univer, Ruler, Azent, and Floss are players that I've never heard of before. Or, I mean, I've seen them around, I've seen Ruler around at least, but the rest of these players are pretty fresh, and I'm excited to see what they can do. MCD is a pretty reliable player, despite his other problems. He's still a pretty good player, and I think he does elevate this team. Mer Gaming isn't exactly going to go crazy, but I could see them getting a win or two. And last, but certainly not least, we have the team with my absolute favorite name, Cheeseburger. This team is a pretty weird combination of a bunch of players from all over the place. You've got Argon and Dodo on DPS, with Z-Sin, Farmer and Seongon on tank, and Faith and Wu-Chan on support. Faith is a player that I'm kind of surprised to see here. Pretty reliable main support in my opinion, has been really good over the last couple years. It's nice to see Dodo and Argon again. Farmer's a player who's been all around. And my absolute favorite part of this team is that we have Iris as a coach. Iris is one of my favorite players. You know, I'm a Rain fan, so it's always nice to see my guy doing well. And I have some faith this team will at least be pretty good. I don't think they're going to be fantastic. I don't think they're going to be elite. They're going to be down there, you know, with your teams like Mer Gaming and Old Ocean. But they are going to at least put up a fight. You know, that's the thing with the Korea region. Every team has to be at least pretty good in order to compete. Korea is by far the most stacked region in OWCS. Yes, they aren't as dominant as before, but I think most teams in this region would give the other teams in the other regions a big run for their money. This is a really stacked region, and in order to get out of here, you have to be one of the best. And unfortunately, I don't think a lot of these teams have what it takes. My actual pick for who I think is going to win, I usually pick Crazy Raccoon, but I don't think I have the faith in them right now. I think the team that I think is going to win Stage 3 is actually going to be T1. This team hasn't won anything. They've been so close for a while. They got second place before. I think they can finally get over the hump and get it done this time. Of course, I'm probably going to be wrong and Team Falcons are going to sweep again because that's what they always do. But hopefully T1 can prove me wrong and they'll do something. With that said, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it at any point, please do me a huge favor. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment. Anything that can help support me. Only takes a few seconds and it means a lot more than you can imagine. I'll be uploading a video on the North America and European regions later on next week, so stay tuned for more of those in a few days. With that said, thank you so much for watching, and as always, love you guys.